The LGBTQ community continues to face violence, discrimination, and human rights violations in all walks of life. While some countries are gradually safeguarding the rights of LGBTQ citizens, others vehemently oppose what they see as a sea change in culture, sometimes using religion as a justification for discrimination. Human rights group United and Strong is concerned about the increase in attacks on LGBTQ persons. It is seeking greater rights and civil protections for the community through an Equality Act.
It's just sad that in 2020 it continues to happen despite the education, despite the advocacy movement that we as an organization have been doing. And because of this, we are calling on the powers that be, the government, to enact an equality bill that will protect the rights of LGBT persons. And while we know that the equality bill will not necessarily protect everyone, because persons may just not respond to the bill, but it will hold persons accountable for when such matters like that arise. So when with the equality bill being enacted, persons will be aware that there is a protection for LGBT persons and they can be held accountable, and the police can take more affirmative action towards these hate crimes and discriminations.
The calls for an Equality Act coincides with a recent brutal physical attack on a gay man. He was hit in the head with a bottle while walking down the street. UNS is also disturbed by attempts to out people suspected of being gay in public and on various social media platforms. Despite the strides made in engendering tolerance among the population, LGBTQ persons are reportedly still being subjected to unsupportive hostile work and social environments. Board Director of United and Strong, Jessica St. Rose, worries that this may instill fear in closeted LGBTQ persons who may be too afraid to come out due to concerns for their safety.
We have been in contact with him. He's a well-known member of the community, and we're very saddened that this happened. And he's not the first. We've been seeing a lot of, like I said earlier on, rising and cyberbullying as well. Recently, we saw a page start wanting to out persons, and that is very dangerous, outing persons who are not out. And this can affect the persons in a major way in terms of the family, in terms of the job security and all of that. So we're calling on the public to be mindful, be aware, be more compassionate towards LGBT persons, because we do deserve a rightful place in society, despite the fact that we still live in a very society that is not accepting of LGBT persons.
Moreover, some participants at the recent Black Lives Matter August 1st Emancipation Rally used the platform to make anti-LGBTQ remarks. The group has since apologized for the display and disavowed the comments made by the platform speakers. St. Rose is appealing to persons to be mindful of the language of discrimination towards LGBTQ, which can cause untold harm.
We want to be in a society that is very inclusive and inclusive of all persons, and that also includes the LGBT community. And while you're doing advocacy for whatever movement or whatever cause, we have to be mindful that LGBT persons are part of every sector of society. And whilst you may not believe in LGBT rights, but we have to be mindful that they are also part of society, and they also add to the development of society. And continuing to add hate speech and discriminate against them will not be beneficial to your movement, to your cause, and also to the society.
In June 2020, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the civil rights of the LGBTQ people are protected and individuals cannot be discriminated against in the workplace based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. United and Strong has expressed profound disappointment that successive Saint Lucia governments have failed to enact laws to protect the LGBT people. Saint Lucia still has so-called buggery laws on statute books which criminalize homosexuality.
We see it in other islands happening, where we see heads of government, ministers speaking out, and we're hoping that, the government will be able to stand firm and give affirmative decision. We don't always, while it's okay to speak behind closed doors, but to come out openly, this is what we want to hear, and this is what we continue to advocate for. Because whilst we may meet you in closed doors and say one thing, but out there in public, we're not hearing it, and we're very saddened by this. And we hope that very soon these policies could be enacted.
United and Strong hopes the Equality Act can be considered by Cabinet to end abuse against LGBTQ community and penalize persons who do so. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.